your shadow will emerge. As I get deeper and deeper into this SR journey, particularly on pure mode, meaning that I'm not indulging in lustful thoughts, I'm letting go of all lustful fantasies, I'm bouncing my eyes every time they come across something which could inspire lust, which is not as easy as it might sound, mind you, when we are bombarded on every platform and in every public space with lewd images that inspire lust by design. As I get deeper and deeper on this journey, I'm finding myself coming face to face with more and more of my shadow material. In particular, recently, I've been dealing with the feeling of hate, pure, malevolent hatred. And when this feeling comes on, it's so intense and so obvious to anyone who might be in my vicinity. The energy becomes palpable. And so I'm left with two options, either to remove myself from the company of anyone who might be around me, or to do my best to suppress the feeling of hate, of rage, of pure malevolence. Now, I'm sure you would have experienced this. Maybe not on your SR journey, although rage is very common in the early stages. But I'm really talking about something beyond rage here. What it feels like to me is pure animosity, pure anti-life. That's the feeling that seems to come up. And what I'm realizing is that this is a part of your ascension into full God mode. And when I say God mode, I really mean God realization. You see, you are God. You descended from the heavens into the earth, the womb. The masculine came to the feminine material form and impregnated her with the divine essence, so that you, being pure spirit, being God, being consciousness, could animate this material body and have a human experience. Jesus came down from the Father and was crucified on the body of flesh. Jesus, I am, Yod He, Vowed He, I am that I am. That's your true identity. Nothing more and nothing less. You were crucified on this body on Golgotha, the skull. That's what the word Golgotha means, where Jesus was crucified. You were crucified and buried in the skull. You made your descent down to hell, heal the lowest part of the body, and now you're ascending back to heaven. Heaven. And you see the language is laced with these metaphors because everyone knows this deep down. Now, as you ascend back to heaven, as you climb the pathway of Kundalini and ascend back to Peniel. Peniel was the place where Jacob wrestled with God. He said, surely God is in this place. Peniel, pineal, it's all written in there. It's all in the language. It's all in our culture, in our stories, in our folklore, in our mythology. Everywhere you look, once you have eyes to see it, you can see the same metaphor of the prodigal son leaving the place of eternal bliss, descending into the material realm, eventually having enough of the living hell and ascending back to the Father. That's what we're doing here. Now, as you ascend up the tree of life, you can see this again. Remember the talk I did on the return of the king? What is the breastplate that Aragorn wears as he rides out into battle in the return of the king when he's fighting for Gondor, for Minas Tirith? It's the white tree, the tree of life. What does the nervous system of a human being look like when it's turned upside down? If you were just to see the nervous system map, overlay of a human body, it would look like a tree. With the seed, the head at the bottom, and the body and the limbs coming up with all of the branches, the veins, the arteries, ascending up towards the sky. This is what we're doing, my brothers. We're purifying the tree. We're reclaiming our godhood. Now, what's going to happen as you do this is everything that is not of God will be thrown in your face. This is why it's so uncomfortable. This is why your traumas are coming up. This is why some days it feels like a living hell. Re-emergence of old memories, patterns, judgments that you've held, unforgiveness that you've held. It's all going to start bubbling up out of your system for you to face, for you to process, for you to release, so that you can continue your upward climb back into the higher centers where you will remember who you truly are. Now, what I realized with this feeling of hate is that it was buried beneath a feeling of fear. And as men in our Western culture, we have been indoctrinated to believe that men are either toxic and dangerous or limp and weak. Can you see the dichotomy there? Can you see the duality there where you get these two choices? And just like democratic or liberal, you are forced to choose to make an apparent choice between the two choices that they have designed for you to choose. Doesn't matter, they don't care if you choose this one or that one, left or right, because they've designed those two choices. But you don't realize there's another choice. As the feelings of hatred, anger, rage begin to emerge, you'll realize that these feelings have been suppressed underneath fear for your entire life. You'll have a fear to even open up and face these feelings of pure hatred. It's much easier to project them out into the Illuminati, the global elites, the rampant pedos who have been supposedly controlling the direction of the human race for many thousands of years, who descended from the magi, the ancient magicians, who knew how to weave webs of illusion. Now, I've been projecting my hatred out onto externals, such as those just mentioned, for the last few years. But it's come to a point now where I'm having to own it. I'm having to realize that all of the feelings that come up for me, fear, hate, guilt, shame, they all come from within me. I'm the only one who can release them. I can't run from them. I can't project them anymore. You gain too much clarity when you go pure mode. I have to own them. I have to forgive them. I have to be with them. This is the dark night of the soul. This is why men did initiation rituals in indigenous cultures, so that they could face these projections, these elements of the unconscious, which bind us and keep us small until we face them and overcome them, and we activate the warrior king archetype. So I want you to be very aware in these coming weeks, days, months of these projections that arise and try to make you submit, make you release this intense energy through masturbation, through distraction, through escape. And I want you to be very conscious and still and present and take full ownership of these energies that arise, because they're aspects of yourself. And as you sit with them and accept them and feel them, you're going to reintegrate them into the whole that you always have been. And you're going to gain the power and the wisdom which you've been projecting out, which you've been fracturing yourself off from. It's all going to come back to you. And you're going to realize who you are.